Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining us today. And we're going to seek the blessings of Radha Krishna, Gaunitai, Krishna Balaram, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees, some devotees, so that we can continue with the overview of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto. So we're at 64th chapter, and this is one of the verses, wonderful verse spoken by Krishna.
Verse 42. Yithaham praname vipran anukalam samahita tatha namata yuyam cha yonyata me sadandabhak. Translation: just as I always carefully bow down to Brahmins, so all of you should likewise bow down to them. I will punish anyone who acts otherwise.
So, interesting chapter, glorifying the Brahmins. Let's have a look at it. Deliverance of King Nrag. This chapter describes how Sri Krishna releases King Nrag from a curse and instructed the royal order on the great dangers of taking a Brahman's property. So, the young boys of the Yadav dynasty, they find a lizard in a well. One day, Samba was the son of Jambavati, and the other boys of the Yadav dynasty went to the forest to play. After playing for a long time, they became very thirsty and began looking for water. So inside a dry well, they found an amazing creature, a huge lizard resembling a hare. The boys felt sorry for it and tried to pull it out. But after several attempts with leather thongs and ropes, they saw that they would not be able to rescue the creature. And thus they went to Lord Krishna and told him what had happened. The Lord accompanied them to the well and, extending his left hand, easily lifted the lizard out. Oh, thought I had. There you go. He's extended his left hand and he brings out the lizard. This is quite incredible. And it's how amazing the Lord would, he accompanies his children to the forest and he does these pastimes, amazing pastimes. By the touch of the glorious Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna's hand, the creature transformed at once into a demigod, a resident of heaven. His complexion was beautifully colored like molten gold. He was adorned with wonderful ornaments, clothes, and garlands. Then Lord Krishna, although understanding the situation, because he knows everything, but still, he asked for the benefit of people in general, the demigod, who are you? And how have you assumed such a lowly form? By what past activity were you brought to this condition? So this picture shows the next part of what we're going to discuss. And this is the Devata, came out from the lizard's body. Lord Krishna and his children. The divine being replied, my name was King Nrag, son of Ikshwaku. Ikshwaku is part of the Sun dynasty, son of Vivaswan. So the grandson of Vivaswan was Nrag, King Nrag. What could possibly be unknown to you, O Master? So he recognized Krishna immediately. With vision undisturbed by time, you witness the minds of all living beings. Nevertheless, on your order, I will speak. I was famous for giving charity. After first honoring the numerous Brahmins, I gave away countless cows to them. Not just cows, he would give so many other gifts to the Brahmins. Indeed, I gave in charity as many cows as there are grains of sand on the earth. That's a lot of Gomatas. Stars in the heavens or drops in a rain shower. These cows were young, brown, milk-laden cows who were well-behaved, beautiful, endowed with good qualities, and who had gilded horns, silver-plated hooves, and decorations of fine ornamental clothes and garlands. In addition, I performed Vedic sacrifices and executed various pious welfare activities. So you would have thought this is extremely generous, and how can he ever become a lizard? However, on one occasion, a cow belonging to a first caste Brahmin wandered into my herd. Unaware of this, I gave this cow in charity to a different Brahmin. So what happened? He gave this donation first to a Brahmin, but that cow, this donation of the cow, Gomata, this Gomata wandered back into his herd again, and he gave again that cow to a second Brahmin, a different Brahmin. When the cow's previous owner saw the second Brahmin taking this cow, the first Brahmin claimed the cow as his and began arguing with the second Brahmin. After quarreling for some time, they approached me and I implored them to each take 100,000 cows in exchange for that one cow, and to please forgive me for the offense I had unknowingly committed. But neither Brahmin would accept my proposal, not wanting anything in exchange for the cow, and thus only wanting that cow. So it must be very important, Gomata. And the matter remained unsettled. Shortly thereafter, I died and was taken by the Yamadutas to the court of Yamraj. Yama asked me which I would prefer first. So why was he taken to Yamadutas in the first place? Because that's the general journey of the living entity, because we do both good and bad. If we simply did devotional service, then there would be there would be no question of any trip to Yamaraj. But of course, in this world, it's not so easy just to do devotional service. Yes, Naniman.
Yes, if as a question of we don't do the trip to the Yamaraj, then it is who will decide of our fate for the next of our karmas in our like Chitragupta who goes through our files. So what happens there?
Yeah, it's good question. Lord takes personal charge, because I mean, this is of course very rare, but if from birth one has always being a devotee, then the Yamraj has no authority over, or Chitragupta has no authority. That's where the Lord, he keeps track of what's going on personally.
Yeah, but my understanding is either the Vishnu Duts take you back up to Vaikuntha, or the Yam Duts take you to Yamraj.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the Vishnu Dutas would come. Yeah, good.
So then you don't have to go through any reconciliation of your karmas or anything. You go straight up to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan.
Yeah.
But that is for Shuddha, pure devotees only, isn't it?
Ajamil was most of his life, he behaved really badly. But because at the end he purified himself so much by chanting the name of Narayan,
and serving the devotees.
The Yamadutas came, but the Vishnu Dutas also were sent by the Lord. So the Lord is in charge. He will decide who's worthy of going back without being diverted to Yamaraj. In this case, I suspect, I mean, it's not said that anywhere, but King Nrg may have also become a little bit proud of his charitable work. I'm doing so. I'm better than anybody in terms of giving. I gave more cows and grains in the sand, grains on earth. I mean, that's a huge achievement. But if it leads to pride, then unfortunately, it's not a big achievement.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say about King Nag that, yes, he worshipped the Brahmins, but did he execute bhakti to the Supreme Lord? Worshipping the Brahmins is on the level of moral goodness, which is fantastic. Worshipping Gomatas is on the level of moral goodness. But unless there's a connection with the Supreme Lord, it doesn't go beyond the moral goodness. So hence why he's still within the jurisdiction of Yamraj. Those who work beyond the moral goodness, their jurisdiction is the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord takes charge. And then he sends the Vishnu Dutas to protect.
Yeah. In that case, devotional service is an important part, isn't it? You may be doing, you are correct that you may be doing any form of the charity, but if there is no bhakti in that, then you are not going anywhere near Vishnu Dut.
Yeah. You're still in the jurisdiction of this world.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, and it's good, of course. We don't discourage people to do charitable work, but we have to understand that you have to enjoy the benefit of that charitable work in your next life, perhaps. And you're still going to be in this world to enjoy it, and we want to be out of this world. So,
Thank you.
Thank you for raising that point, actually. Yam asked me which I prefer to do first, suffer the result of my sins or enjoy the results of my pious acts. Do you wish to experience the result of your sins first or those of your piety? Indeed, Yamraj says to him, I see no end to the dutiful charity you have performed or to your consequent enjoyment in the radiant heavenly planets. So then King Nrg, he decided to suffer his sinful reactions first. And thus Yamraj committed him to become a lizard. Quite a heavy punishment. After King Nrg told his story, he offered prayers to Lord Krishna, requesting the Lord to permit him to depart for the world of the demigods and to allow his mind to always take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Then Maharaj Nrg circumambulated Lord Krishna, touched his crown to the Lord's feet before mounting a celestial airplane which transported him to heaven. So he's really fortunate. Yes, he's because he served the Brahmins and the Gomata. Even though he was a lizard, he got the darshan of Lord Krishna. That's really powerful. Very, very fortunate. And all he had to do was spend one life as a lizard. That's amazing. Lord Krishna then instructed his personal associates as well as the general mass of people on the dangers of stealing a Brahman's property. So there's a whole series of verses now, about 15 or maybe less than that, 14 of them. I do not consider halahal to be poison. That's the poison that Lord Shiva drank, because it has an antidote. But a Brahman's property, when stolen, can truly be called poison, for it has no antidote in this world. That's really... Poison kills only the person who ingests it. An ordinary fire may be extinguished with water, but the fire generated from kindling wood of a Brahman's property burns the thief's entire family down to the root. Sheesh.
Prabhuji?
Yes, anyway.
But King Nrga, he didn't know that this another cow had come into the mixed with his cows. He didn't know that, did he?
That's right. He didn't know.
He didn't steal anything. He didn't steal anything.
Yeah, you could say that, but
still have to face the consequences.
Yeah, no, you're right. He didn't specifically steal it.
No, but still karma involved, because
he gave it away twice.
He gave it away. Yeah.
But
unknowingly,
yeah.
Karma still kicks in, especially when there's a Brahman concerned. Yeah.
That's dangerous, huh?
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. If a person enjoys a Brahman's property without receiving due permission, that property destroys 3 generations of his family. But if he takes it by force, then 10 generations of his ancestors and 10 generations of his descendants are all destroyed. Whether it be his own gift or someone else's, a person who steals a Brahman's property will take birth as a worm in feces for 60,000 years. Wow. So this is, King Nrg didn't face that problem, that karma, because he didn't steal it. But unknowingly, he still gave away something that wasn't his to a Brahman. I do not desire Brahman's wealth. Those who lust after it become short-lived and are defeated. My dear followers, never treat a learned Brahman harshly, even if he has sinned. Even if he attacks you physically or curses you, continue to offer him obeisances. So this is partly Draupadi, when Ashwatthama was behaving so badly, killed his own son, killed her sons. Yet she had two thoughts in her mind. If you kill Ashwatthama, you're gonna make our guru's wife very unhappy. And he's a Brahmin. Leave him alone. That takes a lot of guts. Just as I always carefully bow down to Brahmins, so this is Krishna saying, so all of you should likewise bow down to them. I will punish anyone who acts otherwise. When a Brahman's property is stolen, even unknowingly, it certainly causes the person who takes it to fall down, just as the Brahman's cow did to King Nrg. So that's the answer, Rama, not even unknowingly.
Yeah, unknowingly. I think there is something that not knowing and doing something, it doesn't sort of leave you from not doing the work correctly. I think there's something like that.
Yeah.
That unknowingly does not sort of, I would say, make you not suffer a karma, as Mataji said. I think it's a very important point, this is. That unknowingly, if you do something, that doesn't mean that you are clear of everything.
Yeah. And in Kali Yuga, it said that practically every act has some fault. So that's why it's so important to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So we might be thinking we're doing something good, but every act has some problem with it, you know. So every act we offer it to the Lord. Then it's up to him. He has to worry about if it's a problem or not, you know. Having thus instructed the residents of Dwarka, Lord Mukund, purifier of all the worlds, entered his palace. So that's the end of this chapter. Very, very instructive chapter, and one can see the consequences of karma, which is pure, devastating consequences. But he was very fortunate. He saw Krishna. Yes, Naiman.
It's one of the best chapters, actually. That is quite a lot of learning point here.
Yeah, there is a lot of learning on this.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Makes you think.
Yeah. But I suppose that I've heard that when somebody has got that much property of that many cows, he knows which are his own and which are not his own. So obviously this king didn't recognize the one that had strayed into his herd of cows, that he didn't recognize that this is not his cow. So we have to recognize what our limitations and what are our extent to which we own anything. We have to know that.
Yeah, good point.
This is very important to me, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I think even if we know that, you know, it's so easy in Kali Yuga to get it wrong anyway, you know. So that's possibly why if we just, whatever we give, whatever we do, if it's connected with the Lord, then that act becomes pure. Even if there's some mistake there, which there will be, you know, the Lord will look upon that and think, okay, you know what? he tried and he's surrendered it to me. So I think as long as we put the Lord in the center of everything we do, then we're always going to be protected by him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Consider it and giving everything to whatever we do it for Krishna, and then we will be pardoned from this type of a sin.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that makes me a little bit happy now.
Even if we do it for somebody else, for example, if we know like what we're trying to do, we're trying to do this rasan at the moment, right? We're giving the food packages to the people in Braj. Okay, may not be directly offered to the Lord, but because we are serving the Lord's family, it's connected with the Lord. And even if it was not, say the Food for Life in Croydon, right? If the mood is, I want to please you by offering this prasad to the people in Croydon, then you connected it in bhakti. That act of donation is connected through to Krishna through bhakti, because we want to offer prasad. So that becomes, even if there's some mistake there, if something is unofferable and we give it to the homeless person, we would suffer. But because we've connected it to Krishna, then it becomes bhakti. So, and I think that's, we don't have, not everything is going to be directly related to Krishna. But if you're feeding somebody, make sure it's prasad. Then it becomes bhakti. Isn't it, Naniman? What do you think?
Yeah, yes, yeah. So we have to, but the mood is important, isn't it? The mood with which we are doing, even with the prasadam, somebody is doing something all the time, and they think, oh, I'm doing this all the time, and there's a little bit of pride comes in there.
Right.
Then that is wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't go down well with the Krishna.
Yeah.
So the mood is very important. Whatever we do, our mood, our bhakti should all be pure. No pride at all. We should be like a blade of grass. Whatever we do, the humility, and we should think of ourselves that we are nothing. We are not doing anything. It's Krishna is making us do this. How much thousands of pounds of charity you do, thousands of pounds of cows that you give away, but it should be in the proper mood.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing with the Lord is, if you're doing something for him and there's some pride, he will detect it, and he will himself ensure that pride disappears, right? Yeah, because you're doing it in connection with him. So the protection is still going to be there by him reducing the pride automatically. He will reduce it. Because
but with their gopis and Radha, when they were all become so proud of Krishna, he disappeared, didn't he?
He disappeared, Krishna's mine, and suddenly he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
But what happened when he went? Their bhakti increased for Krishna, because their bhakti in separation was way beyond their bhakti with him when they were together. So yes, Krishna reduced their pride, but in the process, he increased their bhakti. So this is what the Lord does, right? He'll reduce our pride if, I'm doing so much for you, my Lord. He'll knock the pride down, but he'll increase the bhakti. This is why he is beyond, he's the best, because whatever he does for our own good.
Yeah.
So sometimes we may not understand it. How is that good for me, my Lord, what you just did? We might even question him, but ultimately he knows best, So, very interesting. Thank you, Naniman.
Thank you, Babuji.
Anybody else? Any questions, any comments before we go to the instructions? So, Nandhasan Prabhu? Are you with us? While we're waiting for Madhusan Prabhu, Surendra Prabhu, anything you'd like to share?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Prabhu, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Yes, I would like to share a few things.
Yes, please.
So, we understand that King Nriga, he was practicing Vedic sacrifices, and therefore he was not practicing Shuddha Bhakti. His devotional service is classified as per the Karma Kanda aspect of the Vedas. And therefore is subjected, as you rightly said, to the laws of karma. And the laws of karma are very stringent and very subtle. We don't understand what can happen for this action and what will lead to what. So that is, and the law of karma, it affects great personalities, even Lord Indra, or it even goes down to the bugs like Indra Gopa. So in Brahma Samhita, there is a verse as follows: Jastu Indra Gopam Athavendram Aho Swakarma Bandhana Rupa Phalabhajanama Tanoti Karmani Nirdhati Kim Tuja Bhakti Bhajam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Vajami. So it goes on to say that whether one may be the great king of heaven, Lord Indra, or one may be a bug, Indra Gopa, everyone is subjected to the laws of karma. But those devotees who surrender and practice Shuddha Bhakti to Krishna, their karmic reactions is burned at the root by the grace of Krishna. In this way, so therefore we are encouraged to practice Shuddha Bhakti and worship Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam as instructed. So we worship Govinda, the original Supreme Person of Godhead, the source of all incarnations and all energies. Yes, so that aspect, therefore, we have a verse here by Jadbharat, and Tapa Prabhritinam Pratikulyam Raghunaitat Tapasa Nayati Na cheya ya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasa naiva jalagni suryair vina mahatpada rajo bhishekam, by the great devotee Sri Jadbharat. The adversity of all attempts based on austerity, etc. O Rahugan, without one's head being adorned with the dust of the holy feet of a pure devotee, one can never attain devotion for the Supreme Lord by austerity, by Vedic worship and religiosity, by following the vow of monkhood, by following the religious duties of married life, by study and recitation of the Vedas, or by worshipping water, fire, or sun. So this means we are guided to take shelter of pure devotees, the Vaishnavas, and in Sadhu Sangha chant Hare Krishna and practice Bhakti. And therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has emphasized on the following aspect of Bhakti. He says the proper approach to realize one's eternally perfect divine identity in the Vrindavana mellow of devotion. So there's a long verse, but I'll do the translation. The divine master, so we should adore the divine master, Sri Vrindavan, the residence of Sri Vrindavan. There were three. Fourth one is the pure Vaishnavas. Fifth one, the Brahmana section. Sixth, the worshipful mantra, that is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the Brahma Samhita mantras, Prem Dham Deva Stotram mantras, like that. The holy name here is refers to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 7. So 8, a yearning to serve the couple divine. Adore these 8 with utmost dedication. O dear mind, I implore thee at thy feet. Already we have learned the essence, nothing but Lord Krishna's service. Dispel the soul's illusory experience. Duty, knowledge, penance, meditation, all really exploitation. None can free us from action and reaction. Cast them all aside, O my brother. Sing the glory of good faith, our mother. whose grace alone bestows pure devotion. Banish your pride forever, O my mind, your 8 goals remember. Adore them with a heart that is sincere, aspiring for that devoted heart at Sri Das Goswami's feet. This Bhaktivinoda makes his prayer. Hare Krishna, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing. Where is that prayer from, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's?
Bhaktivinoda, let me see. This is where is it? 1 minute. There's a Bengali verse by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it does not mention exactly where, but it's a Bengali verse by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation.
Okay. No, thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
Really good. Really good.
I got it from Prapana Jiranitam, compiled by Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Rakshak Siddhardev Goswami Maharaj.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes. And yeah, there are more things to explain, but maybe we'll shorter time another day. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. Oh yeah, what are we doing tomorrow? Oh yes, Karuna, you can do maybe question answers, Q&A if you're ready. So, okay, Madhusan Babu, are you? Good, you're there. Go for it.
Jai Haribol, Hare Krishna. Yeah, can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, again, this is another revelation here of what bhakti is really pure, and Prabhu has explained nicely as well the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So in this chapter, then we get to learn from Srila Jiva Goswami's comments in the purport, then his comments that the King Raga, did not fully appreciate pure devotional service to Krishna. Krishna had not been the only goal of Naga's life, as he was Ambrish Maharaj. He's comparing to Ambrish Maharaj. The Srimad Bhagavatam is actually revealing how different devotees did devotional service. Some made slight mistakes here, there. Prabhupada, like Prahlad Maharaj, Ambrish Maharaj, even Dhruva, and what their goals were and how they came into bhakti. But even then, just shows how merciful Krishna is every time, So here is, Jiva Goswami is comparing like Nriga, although he was thinking of Krishna, but actually you can see from his action, he was just giving out lots and lots of cows and charities to Brahmins and all that. So that was like doing pious, impious kind of activities, focused on that as well at the same time. So he's saying to Ambrish Maharaj, even in the stage of regulative practice, so nor do we find that King Naga overcame obstacles like those that Ambrish Maharaj did when Durvasa Muni became angry at him. Still, we can conclude that since Naga was able to see the Lord, for some reason or another, he must have had the good quality of sincerely desiring the Lord's association. So somehow or the other, he must have desired, although he was doing these pious activities and so many cows, and he just made not by his fault, but just cow was given wrongly, or rather had wandered off into another herd. So, but then Srila Prabhupada also confirms the above analysis, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the whole, Nriga had not developed Krishna consciousness. The Krishna conscious person develops love of God. Krishna, not love for pious or impious activities. Therefore, he is not subjected to the results of such actions. So I stated in the Srimad Brahma Samhita that a devotee, by the grace of the Lord, does not become subjected to the resultant reactions of fruitive activities. So Nriga here obviously had focused quite largely on the pious activity. At some point, he must have he makes a comment that, you know, I wanted your association somehow or the other. So he did actually somehow did see the Supreme Lord Krishna coming to rescue him from the well.
Mhm.
So there we, you know, we learn from this instruction that our job is not really to be so focused on whether I'm doing pious activities or impious activities. Just focus on Krishna and doing bhakti, and but we're not on that level of Suddha bhakti. So, but somehow, you know, by the mercy of a pure devotee like Prabhupada, we will get the grasp of it somehow. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing that. Very good. Hare Krishna. So, unless there's any other questions or comments, we can call it a day today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, 10th Canto ki jai. Hare Krishna.